Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Krityan Academy, #1 Medical Coding Institute. So we are discussing about surgery coding, and today the topic is about fine needle aspiration biopsy. I'm repeating here, the topic is fine needle aspiration biopsy. So let's discuss what exactly the FNA fine needle, the shortcut we call it as a FNA biopsy. FNA biopsy. So usually this procedure is a invasive procedure. It is a minimally invasive procedure. That means, first I will tell you the difference between invasive and non-invasive procedure. So non-invasive procedure means they won't cut the skin and they won't break the skin and, they will not enter into the tissues. That is a non-invasive. Invasive procedure is a breaking the skin and other entering into the other tissues. But here the FNA biopsy, which is a minimally invasive procedure, it is a minimally invasive procedure. By using, they will use thin hollow needle to remove cells, tissues, or fluid from a lump or abnormality. Sir, why they will do this procedure? So this procedure will be doing for the purpose of to diagnose. It is used to diagnose only. It is used to diagnose the condition or rule out cancer, infections, or any other inflammations. Got it. So that is the purpose. And the main purpose of this procedure, they will do this procedure on thyroid, the common, which is they will do on the thyroid locations I'm telling here, thyroid, breast, and of course, lymph nodes only. So this is the a bit information about fine needle aspiration. It is a minimally invasive procedure, and they will use a thin hollow needle to remove cells or tissues or fluid from a lump or abnormality. And this procedure is mainly to diagnose the condition or rule out cancer or maybe infections or any other inflammations. And the sites they will perform this procedure on thyroid, breast, and lymph nodes. And lymph nodes. So let's come to the coding part. So if you see the coding part, FNA biopsy will be coding based on, we need to remember imaging guidance. The coding is based on imaging guidance. We will check the documentation. Are they using imaging guidance or not? The next one, number of lesions biopsied. These are the 2 points we should remember for FNA coding. FNA coding. Imaging guidance. So what is imaging guidance? In case if they are using the fluoroscopy, ultrasound, CT, or MR, magnetic resonance. These are considered as a imaging guidance. First, you need to check the number of, imaging guidance. Are they using any imaging guidance? This one, we need to check it. Later, you need to check the number of lesions biopsied. Only. So these are the 2 points we need to remember for coding fine needle aspiration biopsy. So coming to the codes are classified with imaging or without imaging. So let me give you a code examples. 10021, 10021. This is the CPT code where they will use for the first lesion without imaging guidance. And the other code 10005. So the other code is 10005. This is for same for the first lesion using ultrasound. using ultrasound. Another code we have 10007. This code is using for the first lesion using fluoroscopy. And we have 10009. This is for CT for the first lesion using CT imaging guidance. And we have another code 10011 for the first lesion using MR. So I told you, right, first we need to check whether they are performing this procedure with imaging guidance or without imaging guidance. If they are performing the FNA biopsy without imaging guidance, you can use this code 10021. And if they are using imaging guidance, please check that whether they are using ultrasound or fluoroscopy or CT or MR, because we have a separate codes, separate codes for that imaging guidances. Separate codes for imaging guidance. So this is for the first lesion, right? Sir, what about if any additional lesions performed? Yeah, so we have an additional lesions, which is called an add-on code and the 10004. This will be each additional lesion. Each additional lesion and 10005 also we have an add-on code that is for 10006. 10006. This is for each additional lesion. And this one for fluoroscopy, also we have an add-on code 10008. Each additional lesion. And 10009 also we have a code and the 10010. This is also for each additional lesion. And last one, which is MR, this is also having an add-on code plus 10012 each additional lesion. You got it, right? For every code, there is an add-on code that gives for each additional lesion. Here you can see each additional lesion. Here also each additional lesion. But make sure that whether they are using ultrasound or fluoroscopy or CT or MR. Accordingly, you can choose the code and accordingly, you can choose the code for that lesion. So let me give you one example for this. So if you see an example, they have performed FNA of a breast lesion under ultrasound guidance, followed by FNA of a supraclavicular lymph node under fluoroscopic guidance. Fluoroscopic guidance. So if you observe this guideline, what I told you, the first step you need to identify whether they are performing imaging guidance or not. So in this example, yes, they have performed with imaging guidance. One is ultrasound guidance and other one is fluoroscopic guidance, right? And this is a two different lesions, right? So for the first lesion, I can use they performed ultrasound guidance, right? So ultrasound guidance, I can use 10005. The CPT code 10005. This is for breast lesion under ultrasound guidance. Done. And one more they perform, which is for supraclavicular. So for supraclavicular, they have used fluoroscopic guidance. So fluoroscopic guidance, we have a code 10007. 10007. This is the code for supraclavicular lymph node under fluoroscopic guidance. So this is the way you need to check, Andy, what are the type of imaging guidance they are using and how many lesions they are doing biopsy, and check that if they are performing, for example, they are performing 4 biopsies without imaging guidance. For that, I can use first lesion 100021 and then Additional 3, I can use 1,004 into 3 for each additional lesion only. For every each additional lesion, you can use that. Okay, this is the scenario. Please remember, if someone is asking how will you code FNA, you can say that FNA is a fine needle aspiration biopsy, which is invasive procedure. They will use a needle and to remove the fluid or cell tissues in a lump, an abnormality. And this is mainly for to diagnose or rule out cancer or infection or any other inflammatory conditions. And while coding, I will check the documentation or they're using imaging guidance or not. After that, I can check that how many lesions they are biopsied, how many lesions they have done biopsied. So let me show you the FNA of image you can see here. All right, if you see this FNA, they are using ultrasound and this is what the needle are using and they are collecting the fluid from this lump or whatever you call it as a cyst. So why they are doing this procedure? To check that whether it is a cancer or non-cancerous or any infections or any inflammatory. That's the FNA biopsy only. FNA biopsy, fine needle aspiration biopsy. So that's all for today's topic. And please stay tuned for more updates or more topics. Please subscribe my channel, share the channel, and gain the knowledge. Thank you, everyone.